Okay, video for myself, Harvey Goldman. No cuts, no edits, no filters, and no hair. So for today's video, I want to jump into the top 5 money mistakes that most people make really before they're 40. So most people screw up their finances long before they hit 40. God knows I did. And by then, it's often perceived as being too late to fix it without serious sacrifice. So I want to lay out the 5 money mistakes the top 5 money mistakes that I've seen made and also hopefully helped other people recover from. So the biggest one for me is living off credit like it's income. And thanks to buy now, pay later, Klarna, PayPal, ClearPay, all the other usual suspects, it's now become easier than ever to live off credit like it's income. It doesn't feel like you're spending money. Christ, I could literally go onto a guitar store. I could buy 4 or 5 guitars, probably chalk up about 8 grand's worth of credit debt and not even feel the least bit bad about it. And then, that credit debt is going to come knocking and that's going to ruin the next probably 2 years of my life. It's easily done. Using a credit card to pay for everyday expenses can be useful under the right circumstances. If you've got things like cashback or you're collecting points for something or whatever, if they're things that you're going to buy anyway, that you've already got the cash for, like your weekly shopping, like paying utility bills, whatever it might be, that kind of makes sense. It's risky, but it kind of makes sense. Using it to pay for other expenses, holidays, luxuries, non-essentials, it's a bit of a fool's move. Also, obviously, within credit cards, thinking that minimum payments mean that you're actually chipping away at your debt and you're on top of it. Not even close. Minimum payments is how the credit card companies end up rich, hello, and how you end up skint, and also usually paying around double for what you've bought on credit. So this is bad. It normalizes debt instead of basically having it seen as a bad thing or an emergency thing. It normalizes it for everybody and makes it feel like it's okay. It's not good. So the second one, and this is another big one, is not having an emergency fund. Now, I can't harp on about this enough. Life in the UK, as if you haven't already worked that out, with all of the crises that we're having, with the housing crisis, the immigration crisis, the jobs crisis, the wages crisis, life in the UK, let's face it, is pretty unpredictable. Job losses, car repairs, illnesses, the next big crisis, all of it is going to eat away at what little money you've got if an emergency should happen. Most Brits have under £1,500 saved. In fact, many, really, it's under 1,000. One emergency and you're back to borrowing. You're back to debt with interest. You're back to using that overdraft and then obviously struggling to pay it off. So an emergency fund is exactly that. It will save your hide in an emergency. Get one. You need really about 3 months, preferably 6. It is a big ask because most people are skint. Most people can't afford to get an emergency fund, or they would probably get it and then spend it on something non-essential. You just need to train yourself not to do that. It's the biggest lifesaver if you've got one, even just a few thousand sat in the wings that can save your ass if you need it. So another big one for many people, myself at one point in my life, is buying into lifestyle creep. So you're earning more, great, spend more. It seems rational. That upgrade mentality, new car, bigger flat, better clothes, posher phone, it's a trap. No actual wealth building, just nicer things and nicer ways to stay broke. Don't fall for it. Snap out of it. You don't need to upgrade your phone every year. You don't need to upgrade your car every 2 or 3 years. We've all been there. We've all done it. We've all bought the t-shirt, and now we can't afford the t-shirt. So yeah, words to the wise. You don't need it. Check yourself in at the door, and you can probably get away with leaving your phone 3 years to upgrade. Leave your car 5. All of this means that you're potentially saving money. Think about it that way. So another big one, and this is one really for the younger people out there, but also it applies to everybody, I guess, is not learning about money early enough. So most of us, and by most of us, I mean most of the people that I know, working class, common people, we weren't taught how to budget. We weren't taught how to invest. We weren't taught how to save. And we weren't taught about depreciating assets and liabilities and all the rest of it. It was all gobbledygook. It was something that investment bankers and financiers needed to know. It wasn't something that common people knew. Now it's more important than ever that your kids know about these things. You need to teach them how to budget, teach them about how to save. These are valuable life lessons, more so than learning like religious education, more so than probably learning a foreign language. Teach them about money. You will be setting them up for life. Rather than doing 5 years of French at school, I literally wish that I'd done 5 years of economics. I mean, I wish they had economics. Schools didn't teach it, but that doesn't mean that you don't need it. It doesn't mean that your kids don't need it, and it doesn't mean that you can't teach them. They need to understand eventually things like pensions, compound interest, inflation. All of this is going to help them, really help them in their later life. And I guess the final one is waiting too long to start investing. So time is the most powerful factor when it comes to investing. Time in the market beats timing the market most of the time. Most people don't start until they're 35, 40, or even older. And then they panic because, they've basically spunked 20 years of their life not investing. If you look at a compound graph on saving £500 a month, nothing really happens for the first 6 or 7 years. And then it does. And then after 15 years, it's amazing. After 20 years, you'd be wishing you'd done it 10 years earlier. Even small monthly investments in your 20s, £50 a week, £20 a week, whatever it might be, they will make a huge difference when you're in your 50s. I guarantee. So look, if you're under 40 and you're doing these, fix them now. It's not too late to reverse bad habits. If you're over 40, much like me, don't panic, but just stop the bleeding today. It's not about how much you make, it's about what you manage to keep and how much you can grow. So, what are your thoughts on this? What are the top 5 mistakes that you've seen people making? Have you made any yourself? God knows I've made loads of money mistakes. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Every day is a learning day, and every pound that I lose is a lesson. So, look, YouTube's going to put another video there. Like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell. That'd be massive. And yeah, Goldman. Peace out.